Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, just to show you that the gaming industry out there has no limit to its corporate greed out there, Activision Blizzard has now introduced to World of Warcraft a mount that costs $90, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, $90 for a mount. And out there, the craziest part about this is, boys and girls, it just kind of shows you some of the addictiveness of video games out there, and especially World of Warcraft, because you'd think after all of the backlash that Activision Blizzard has gotten over the years for the amount of microtransactions, for the amount of the insane price tags that they have added onto things, and just their absolute proof in the pudding that they will try to monetize and drain every single penny they can out of their gamers. Well, apparently it's working, ladies and gentlemen, because ain't nobody have no problem for it. And my only question at this point is, how much farther can Activision Blizzard absolutely push its player base out there before there is some kind of revolt? Because you boys and girls, you hardcore WoW addicts and fans out there seem to be not having any problem and not even blinking an eye at this kind of insanity out there. And I guess what it really comes down to is probably anybody that was going to leave World of Warcraft because of all the microtransactions and because of all the insanity have already moved on and found other games that don't do this kind of stuff, that still give them the same kind of gratification that WoW did. Because at the end of the day, this fan base is not going anywhere. They are hardcore out there for all of this kind of stuff, and apparently they've got far deeper pockets than you or I out there, than the majority of us have out there, and have no problem blowing their money on these video games. And don't get me wrong, I'm a guy that's blown extra money on video games outside of the base game before in the past, you know, whether it be a subscription service for certain things, or whether it be just to have a little extra game and have the game speed up a little bit so I didn't have to wait around as long. I don't blame anybody for doing that kind of stuff, but for the outrageous price tag of $90 just for a digital creature that you can ride around in game just absolutely boggles my mind, boys and girls. So we're going to check out this article from Bounding into Comics, getting all of the juicy details and see exactly what is going on with this kind of thing out here and how well it's actually doing out there. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Let us know what you think about all of this kind of stuff out there. Let us know, are you one of the WoW fans out there who bought this mount? Are you still out there playing? Do you not have a problem with spending this kind of money on a game you absolutely love and are clearly addicted to? Let us know what you think about all of that in the comment section down below. Or are you one of the other people out there who's like, no way in Hades would I pay for that kind of money for this kind of thing? This is why I've abandoned WoW. Either way, all opinions are welcome, so please let us know in the comment section down below. If you'd like to help support the channel, please check on the links in the description as well. Thank you guys so very much for that. So from Bounding into Comics and our dear sweet Nicola Pajic over there says, Activision Blizzard continues to push the limits of corporate greed, adds limited edition $90 mount to World of Warcraft. That is nuts, boys and girls. As if charging $30 for a single class-restricted portal color in Diablo 4 or $80 for a Godzilla Kong crossover weapon in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 weren't already outrageous enough examples of the company's corporate greed, Activision Blizzard has introduced a $90 mount to the World of Warcraft. And don't get me wrong, it looks really cool. It is shiny and pretty, and it's got some advantages. It looks neat. But you're paying $90 for a digital asset. You realize that, right? A digital asset. Available for purchase via the in-game item shop until January 6th, 2025. Interesting. The Appling Traders Gilded Brutosaurus allows players to ride a gold armored clad version of said fictional dinosaur and access the auction house and mailboxes while on the go. So like I said, it does give you some advantages. $90 worth of advantages though? Further, it also moves to 1.25 times faster than standard mounts, grants a passive defense buff, and allows players to choose a second piece of vault gear each week, which is automatically upgraded to the maximum item level. Now, let me know if that's part of it that makes it a little bit more worth it, but that still seems outrageous. For those unwilling to drop the real-world money, Activision Blizzard also offers an in-game route to acquire the mount, though it demands serious grind. Now, that's one of them situations where at least there's that aspect of it. So it's not completely and totally pay to play, but it sounds like you've got to put in some serious time in order to get this game, in order to get this mount without shelling out the money for it. Obviously, Blizzard wants more people to shell out the money for the mount than actually go through the game and grind for it. Players can use in-game gold to buy tokens from the game's auction house, which they can then redeem for Battle.net credit, which they can then use in the WoW shop to purchase the Gilded Brutosaurus. Sounds like a hell of a process to go through just to get this thing. While these features might seem appealing to hardcore WoW players, in the eyes of many players, those perks of convenience aren't enough to justify the mount's price tag. Unfortunately, for despite these criticisms and players' hopes that this latest microtransaction offering would backfire on Activision Blizzard, according to reports, the mount is selling like hotcakes. And like I said, clearly Activision Blizzard is going to continue doing this kind of thing as long as the player base continues to pay for it. And yeah, that's a screenshot right there of literally them all over the place. Everybody's buying this. Everybody's selling the money. I don't know where in this economy you have an extra $90 laying around in order to pay for this kind of thing just for an in-game mount. But apparently you people have like no family. I don't know, no other responsibilities. You're just single people with way too much money on your hands playing this game. I have no idea. I got a 6th kid on the way. I couldn't afford this kind of stuff. That's absolutely insane. $90 goes a long way on diapers, boys and girls, even in this economy. The fact that the Brutosaurus mount is overpopulating the world of Azeroth speaks volumes about how World of Warcraft players are ready to open their wallets wide. While the Brutosaurus' overpopulation across the world of Azeroth speaks volumes about how ready WoW players are to open their wallets for digital status symbols, their popularity also proves that Activision Blizzard can continue testing fans' goodwill with little to no consequences in response. And that's one of the things that makes me wonder, how much farther are they going to be able to push you before you guys push back against this? I just don't get it. In light of how these status symbols cost extra money on top of the subscription fee required just to play World of Warcraft, as well as access to its individual expansions, a sizable population of the game's players have found themselves coming to accept that perhaps more than ever, Activision Blizzard is now focused on monetizing every possible aspect of their titles. And that's clearly what it is, because we know they haven't been making a lot of great games independently that have sold like gangbusters. So guess what? They're just going to milk their current fan base for every penny that they can get out of you, boys and girls. That said, as noted above, despite the game's currently massive amount of shortcomings, WoW's players base continues to throw their money at Blizzard whenever the opportunity arises. For instance, the latest War Within expansion launched with numerous bugs that demanded hot fixes, but players still rush to both play it and praise it as one of the best new sets of contents to hit the games in years. WoW players out there, are they holding you against your will? Blink twice if there's someone in the room with you forcing you to do this. I'm just kind of curious. Further, it's clear that limited availability of the Traders Guild and Brutosaurus is just another Blizzard strategy to create hype around rare mounts as by making them restricted. The company is clearly hoping to play on players' sense of FOMO in order to make a profit. Yes, indeed, that fear of missing out will get a lot of people there. All in all, such relentless monetization needs to stop, as not only is it taking over the game's core identity, but it's pushing many fans away from the once top-of-the-pack MMO. And if Blizzard thought Shadowlands Exodus was bad, they'll be in for a rude awakening if they don't course correct. And I mean, that's the conclusion these guys come to. That's the conclusion this guy comes to over Bounding into Comics. But at this point, I don't know. I really don't know. How far are they going to be able to continue to push you? What's it going to be? A $200 mount? A $300 mount? Like a $1,000 expansion pass? Like, what is it going to take before you finally go, no more? This is insane. This is ridiculous. And you can't keep treating us like this. I have no idea. But at the end of the day, you get what is rewarded. You know, you feed the beast that continues to grow. And if the WoW players want to continue to feed the beast of Activision Blizzard to continue pushing this kind of monetization stuff out, that honestly at the end of the day is their choice. And that's fine. If you want to continue blowing money like this on a game like this, then go right ahead. It's your money. Do what you want with it. But at the end of the day, at some point, they are going to continue to price the average normally fan out of this entire situation out there. And at the end of the day, that is when you limit your player base to only the wealthiest among you, you end up losing in the long term. We've seen what's happened to Disney parks doing this kind of thing. It's not going to be any different with WoW. But at some point, Activision Blizzard's fans are going to have to stand up and say no. But with this continuing going on, they're going to continue to drain every penny they can get out of you until you guys finally put your foot down and say, no, no more. We're not going to put up with this. But at the end of the day, all of you, Activision Blizzard and all of the WoW players too, you will get what you deserve.